Hi, folks. Jack O'Malley. Here we are with the weekly update, and I'm going to go through it. It might be a short one tonight to some degree on topics. This week in Lansing reminds me of the old This Week in Baseball with Mel Allen. Oh my gosh, there's a blast from the past. Anyway, this week we've been working primarily on budget stuff. And the Senate has their budget. We have our budget bills. Last week we passed them. They went to each other's houses. And then there's this technicality where they got to come back and we vote no, they vote no. And then there's the conference committee. Now we have to sit down and discuss together. And of course it will have the House, the Senate, and the governor's office to sit. And so those budget conferences will sort of kind of begin next week. One of the things that they're waiting on is, you've heard me speak of in past updates, the revenue estimating conference. And what that does periodically, we had a couple more of them than normal during the COVID because, we didn't know what was happening. So there is one tomorrow, and that's when they come in and the Treasury and folks say, all right, here's what we're estimating, taxes are going to look like right now, and our revenues that are coming in between now and, say, the end of the year. And the info on this is that tomorrow the Treasury is going to come in and say, because of inflation, I'm putting this in my words, I don't know how they're going to say it, obviously, but the expectation is they're going to come in and say, because of inflation, we've got way more money than we anticipated. And when I say way more money, I've heard, we'll know the exact number tomorrow, but it could be 2, 3, I've heard even a few people say potentially $4 billion, probably more than 2 to 3 billion extra than we thought was coming. So that raises a question. What do you do? How do you move forward? We've got budgets that we're working on, and we've got all this extra money that is yours, right? So the House and the Senate talked, and we've come up with a plan that we voted out part of it today, and then we'll vote out the other part because there's rules about how long things have to wait, 5-day rule and all that stuff. So next week we'll vote out the Senate part of this, but I'm going to tell you what is in our plan, and you're going to be, those who are watching this and reading the news and whatnot, you can decide which idea you think is better. The governor this morning, knowing this same potential information was coming, her plan was basically to send everybody a $500 check, which I wouldn't mind $500, right? Okay, great. Everybody say, yeah, it's going to buy some groceries, buy some gas. I get it. What we said is, let's make some real change here. And we attempted a tax cut and some things about a month ago, and the governor vetoed them. And she said, well, this is why I'm vetoing it. So we've been looking at, the House and the Senate have been looking at some ideas. Okay, here's what the governor said she didn't like about the last one, what we needed to do if she was going to sign it, and so on and so forth. So with this extra money anticipated tomorrow, $3 billion-ish, what can we do to give people real relief? So what we're talking about in these two bills, and then of course, remember my rule, the old rule, 56, 20, and 1, right? You got to get 56 representatives to say yes, 20 senators, and 1 governor. So if you got 56, 20, and not a 1, it doesn't happen. So we've got to now present this and get the governor to sign it. So here's what we're saying in our bills with the Senate. And in no particular order, I've just got my fancy notes here. There would be a $500 per kid tax credit. Boom, if you're a family. There would be an earned income tax credit. Right now it's at 60%. We'd bump it to 20. Now, a lot of people might grump about that, but what the earned income tax credit is, it says, look, if you're making less than this, or if you're in, and it's like 50,000, and you've got kids and et cetera, we're going to help you. And the more you make, the less of a credit you get, less than that 20%. But if you're within the range, you get the full 20%. You get it back. You pay it in. Oh, you didn't make this threshold or whatever it is. This would give up to 20% return of your own money. All right. Right now, our income tax rate is at 4.25%. There was the item that we passed a couple weeks ago had the income tax dropped to 3.9%. The governor said that was too low. So we said, okay, how about 4%? So we're saying let's drop that income tax rate for everybody to 4%. This would be moving forward. Also, we would increase the personal income tax exemption by $1,800, $3,600 or whatever it is, if you're a double filer. So again, we're giving you more of a tax credit there so that you can keep that money in your pocket. There would also be, for those that are 67 or 65, 67 and older, there would be a personal income tax exemption for those folks, and it would also be adjusted moving forward to inflation. So as inflation goes up, your exemptions would go up. Again, these are for people who are on fixed incomes because they're retired. We have another part of this that says, currently state law says if you are a 100% disabled vet, combat disabled vet, you get a 100% exemption on your property tax. Well, the previous law is the local governments didn't get reimbursed for that tax, right? So our bill says if you're 100% disabled, you get a total exemption. But if you are 50% or between 50 and 100, you will get an exemption as well. If you're 67% disabled, 70% disabled, you'd get a 70% tax exemption on your taxes with a cap of $2,000. And also this would carry over to any widow or widower of said veteran. So these are things that, and it passed bipartisan. It was slim, but we did have some Democrats on this. But here's the thing that I want you to think about. The governor came out today, and as I said, she wants to give everybody a check for $500. We're saying, let's give people real relief. Now, granted, it isn't going to be $500 right now, but when we're talking about income tax credits and helping families and working people that are struggling, I am all in. So, yeah, it might not be a check for $500 today that you could use to help pay bills or help with a summer vacation or something. I get it. But what we're saying is let's make some long-term investments in our state and in our people. And I think that is a long-term better idea. One of the things I say to people about this is, my district, 101st, there's a lot of beautiful homes, and it's a gorgeous part of the state, and a lot of vacation homes. And you drive up and you see this big old place, and you go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Well, it's nice, and it's all great, and I love it, and it's fantastic. But there are a lot of working blue collar folk, family who are just trying to be middle class Americans. We need to help them. I need to be their voice here to say, let's give these people some real relief in their taxes and moving forward. That's why I voted for this today, and I just wanted you to know that. So we'll see. We got it 56, 20, and 1. We got the 56. We got the 20. Now the governor has to come around and say, do you want to have this flash in a pan, $500? I don't mean to discount it. I get it. Or do you want to really give people some long-term fix? And I hope we go for it. Also today, I want to mention, you've heard me talk about the port assistance bill. I'm trying to get our ports. There's 38 ports in the state, and most of them aren't doing anything. Michigan is considered passive in what we do to help our maritime in the state of Michigan. Passed out of the Senate today. It's sent to the Senate floor. I'm assuming next week it will get passed out and voted on and sent to the governors for her signature. We are told that she will sign it. We will have 56, 20, and 1. So that's good. Next Thursday, when the committee meets in the Senate, they're going to be taking up our child care bills. Finally, that package of 8. And we're told that they're expected, we got the votes, so it will get to the floor. We're expecting good things out of the Senate, and we'll get that here after Memorial Day to the governor for signature. So finally, that appears to be moving in the proper direction. So all good news there. So that's what I got. It's a late night. It's been a long day. I'm going to point the buggy north and go home and give Mrs. O a hug. So with that, I will say good night, and we'll check in with you next week. Again, be safe out there. Remember, construction zones, they're picking up across the state when you drive through them. Obey the speed limit. Let's keep our road workers safe. All right. Thank you. Good night.